Hello and welcome back to Jacqs. Thanks for joining me today. I have another video in this series that I'm creating for Simple Stories Summer Snapshots. We are creating a faux denim shorts gatefold mini album. This is the album cover that we created in the first video, and I will have that link down below. And in fact, I'll probably create a playlist for this series. Now, I wasn't really intending to do a series, but that's just how it's working out. So I'm gonna go with the flow and create a playlist for you, and I'll have that link down below in the description box. In this video, we will be decorating the cover of our gatefold album. I have everything cut and ready to be shared. I will also be walking through the cut files that I have created and just kind of telling you what's included in that bundle. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at it, this is going to be your last chance to get the pre-order special. So I will have that link down below so that you can go out and check it out in more detail. I think I have more photos there. I'm not sure, but I'll be showing you what's included in that. Now, in the cut file bundle, I'm going to be including what we're doing today, and that's to create the front, the back cover, and the sides. Now, when I create the pages, there might be more cut files that I create, but right now that is not even on my radar. So those could just be bonuses thrown in. For those using the cut files, please keep in mind that there is an all files for the back of the shorts, an all files for the front of the shorts, and an all files for the side of the shorts. This will save you time in uploading each individual image that's included in this bundle. So the all files will include all of the images related to the back, the front, or the sides within that file. When you go to upload your files to Cricut Design Space, you're going to click on Upload in a new document. Click on Upload Image. You're going to select the All Files, Front, Back, or Side, whichever area you're working on. Let's say the front. We're going to click and drag over the All Files Front of Shorts SVG and click Continue. You can rename, you can add tags, you can even put it in your collections, but there's nothing you need to do to the actual image. Click Upload. When you upload, it will, again, bring it in at a very large size. It's at this point that you can resize these files to whatever size that you need for your project. When you have all the files selected, you can resize them to any size you need, okay? Just want to say that again so that it's clear. When the images get broken apart and they are no longer all together, that's when you're going to need to do calculating if you want to figure out how to resize them. So we did a shorts card. If we want to do that again, we could say the width is 7, unlock the lock, and change the height to 5. Now my files are ready for a 5x7 card. However, we're working on our gatefold cover. For this project, we're going to change the size to be 9.75 by 6.75 and put the lock back on. Now we are ready to cut these images out. If you go to the right-hand panel, you'll see that all of the files are there, and there's a little caret. You click on that, it will show you all of the files. It does not individually name the images. You would have to do that on your own. Just double click and you can rename the file. But you'll be able to see images to help you know what area of the shorts that you're looking at. There's even some more carets there to drop down to show you some more images. So all of the files are there for you. That's all I wanted to make sure that I mentioned to you about resizing. When you're resizing, you need to have all the files selected and hopefully in the proper location so that they are sized correctly. That's why I suggest using the all files for any sizing of projects. Okay, we're going to set the cover aside because the way that I'm going to do this is we're going to put the decorative pieces together and then we're going to add them onto the cover rather than building right onto the cover. Typically that's what we do, right? We just go ahead and start laying down our pieces on our cover. Well, I decided to create bases for all of the pieces that we're going to be adding, and we're going to put it on the base and then we'll add the base to the front of the cover. I think it'll be easier. The papers that I use to decorate the cover include this dotted design, has the beach balls on the back. This, I think this and maybe a little bit is all I have left of this. I did have 2 sheets of all of the printed patterns except for one. And so this is all I have from a second sheet. So if you like this a lot, you might want to buy 3 sheets of this one. For the floral design, this is more of an accent. This is the main pattern that I used for the cover design. And then, like I mentioned, this is the accent, the floral. This has the red ledger on the back side. And this is the textured cardstock from Simple Stories called Pool. Goes really well with these colors. And again, I used this as an accent. I did not use a whole lot of that one. I only had 1 sheet of this. So just so that you know where we are on the materials. Now we're going to start on the easiest part right now, and that is our spines. So we have 2 spines. Now keep in mind, when I created this project, I used electronic files. So those measurements are going to probably be slightly different in some cases than the measurements that I give you, because if you do not want to pre-order or you don't have a cutting machine and you don't want to use the patterns that are part of that bundle, which you can cut and use by hand, I will give you all the measurements you need to recreate the project regardless. Okay, so let's get started with our spines. You're going to need 2 pieces of pattern paper. These will measure 1.5 by 6 3/4. When I created this, I actually scored a line on my Cricut machine, and I scored that at 1 3/8 just so that I could know where the top of the panel was, because in the cut file bundle you'll also get this little image, which you can use to add a solid cardstock. You can use it to add a pattern paper, whatever you like. And this piece measures 1 1/4 by 1 1/8. If you are going to use this, you'll need 2 of these, 1 here and 1 there. At this time, I'm not going to use that, but I did want to show you, and I'll do that throughout. I'll talk about all the files, even if I didn't use them. So I scored at 1 1/2 on each of these so that I would know where I want to add my little accent color. So it kind of happened by accident, but I'm really liking how this looks. So I cut out that pull cardstock and I cut out 2 of these. These are 1 1/2 by 1/4 of an inch. So when you measure down 1 1/2, I think that's what I told you. No, 1 3/8. You're going to glue on these little pieces right at that line. So here's my score line. So I'm going to glue that on with the top of this cardstock at the top of that score line. So let's go ahead and do that. The textured cardstock has dots on one side and solid on the other, and I'm using the solid. And we'll repeat that on our second piece. Just go right up to the score line. I want to make sure these are even. Whew. Okay. Now you're going to need 2 pieces, what I'm calling the cuff. So if you ever wear jean shorts, you know how we kind of roll them up sometimes. That's why I'm calling it a cuff. And these measure 1.5 by 3/4 of an inch. Let's see, it doesn't really matter which side I'm using them on. Now I'm just trying to decide which way I want my flowers to go. Okay, we're gonna go up. And just glue those on. And we're just lining those up to the bottom and the sides. And that's our decoration for the spines. For this project, I was thinking about sewing around my pieces before I glued them down onto the cover. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can use a white pen or any color pen that you'd like, really. You could use a marker and just go along it, making little dash lines. And in fact, I did try to create cut files with the faux stitching to go around the pieces. And they look okay in the software that I used, which was Inkscape. But when you put it into Cricut Design Space, it does something funky to the files. So where this one on the belt loop, it adds an extra line there, which I don't know why it does that. It's not on my file. And the same with the belt. It does the stitching all the way around. It looks okay until we get to the end here. And again, it does this funky line. And actually the whole line goes all the way across, but you know, the top part doesn't matter because it's not on the actual belt. But this little piece here, that's kind of annoying. And on this one, when I created the stitching, for some reason, the Cricut machine is just making like a solid line here. So then it kind of ruins the whole stitching effect. And then it did the same thing here. We got another crazy line here, and look at what it does there. So I did create those files. I'll probably include them in case you want to use them. Like this, that doesn't bother me. I actually kind of love that, but this one up here drives me nuts. And I don't like what it did there. And I've recreated these files and the same thing happens. So I am still working out how to do the faux stitching because I think that would be fun to get you guys some awesome cut files that way. But I did want you to know that that is a feature that you could do for this project. You can just use a marker, make your faux stitching. You can use your sewing machine and do that, or you can just put them on like this. Okay, I am back from sewing. I haven't sewn in such a long time. I'm not sure I did the best job, but it's done. I can't change it. Maybe you guys know, if you're sewers, why do my corners end up being rounded? Like, that's so annoying. You know, I was complaining about my faux stitching having these little hitchy jiggers, and then here's one right there. So if you're a sewer, let me know. I would be interested in knowing why my machine does that. I go straight to the corner. I will turn, like I'm sewing here. I turn the paper and sew, and it doesn't make it a nice crisp corner. I don't understand. Anyways, let me know. So for my spine pattern pieces, I don't really need to do anything else to these. I sewed them, they're done, and if I'm going to add any other embellishments, that will come later. So I'm gonna set these aside, those are done. The next easiest element to create for this cover design is the back cover, and quite frankly, that is my favorite. I would actually love to have the back on the front and the front on the back, but that seems odd, so I'm not doing it. But when you see how cute this is, oh my gosh, you're gonna think the same thing. So this is the full base piece that I have cut out on pattern paper, and you'll have this full shape as a cut file as well as one that has all of this except for 1.5 inches at the top. So I just made it just the bottom part. That's an extra piece in case you need it for your design. Once you see how I'm using this, you're gonna find lots of uses for it, I think. Okay, so the full shorts or the base piece measures 9 3/4 by 6 3/4. I have some score lines on here that I'm using as guides, and then we have this cutout piece to make. So I'm going to show you how to recreate this. I kind of already showed you how to do that. I thought, oh yeah, when we were making the card, I did go over that. But I'll show you here. So here's my piece. I'm going to, if this is just fully cut out, let's say, I'm going to turn it to the left. I'm going to score at 1.5. I'm going to rotate it to the left once more. And at 4 7/8, I'm going to score all the way up to my score line we just made. 4 7/8 all the way up to that score line. Okay, I hope you can see that. So now we have like a T on our cardstock. We're not folding on it, so don't do that. Okay, okay, we had our, right now the T is upside down. Here is the 1.5 score line. Here is the other score line. You know what I think I'll do? Now, what we want to do, oh yeah. So at 4 3/4, make a tick mark. Definitely need another one. At 5, make a tick mark. I'm only making tick marks so you can see that you can do this yourself. I'm going to turn this to the right-hand side. And you're going to go down 4 3/4 inches, which is right here on our scoreboard. And you're going to go over about 1 inch. So I like to use my ruler to line up next to the one, come down to 4 3/4 and make a tick mark. Or make a score line from 4 3/4 to 5, right? I'm doing it with pen, but you would use your scoring tool. So let me just go ahead and then turn this back to the right, and then you can take your scoring tool and connect those lines that we just made. So if you're doing this by hand, sorry my markers aren't any better. I have all kinds of. Ooh, should have used that one. Okay. Okay, so yours should look something like this. Now you want to cut this out. And now you have what I have. Okay? You can definitely get the shorts look without the cut files or patterns. However, in the cut file, there is a score line that's part of the cut files. I made sure when I uploaded it to Cricut Design Space that I changed that line to a score line so that I could get this to be a score line. There's also a belt cut file that's a full-size belt, and that fits the full width of the top of our shorts. And what I did with that, I changed it from cut to be a score line. So Cricut scored this out and this, and then it went around and cut out my shape. Again, I'm using these score lines as guides. I just really thought it would be helpful. So that's how I'm doing it, but I did show you how to do it by hand as well. Let's start by adding our accent color. Again, I'm using the Pool textured cardstock. So this measures 9 3/4 by a 1/4 inch in width. So 9 3/4 by a 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just gonna go ahead and glue that down. Again, I'm going to glue it right at the score line. How's that? I brought you down a little bit. I don't know if that helps, but you can see I'm right at the score line. Another way to check is to bring in the piece that we just did, line these up, and make sure they're looking pretty good. Okay. Kind of want to have that nice clean line all the way around. If you have any extra on the side, just clip it off. I don't think I put mine over far enough, and that's why I have an extra piece there. Okay, that's looking good. Our next pieces are the cuffs. Again, I'm doing that in the floral. And these measure 4 3/4 by 3/4. You'll need 2 of those, and I'm going to glue these down here at the bottom. You're going to need 3 little belt loops. Again, everything I'm showing you again is cut files and patterns. These are 1/2 inch by 1 3/4 inches. You'll need 3 of these, and they will be glued on wherever you like them to be. I'm going to do one in the center, so as you can see, I'm using my score line here as a guide to put that one in the center. And then these other 2, I'm not going to put them like close to the edge. I want them to be in. And then you're going to need 3 pieces of the pattern paper, and these measure 1/4 of an inch wide by 1 5/8. And actually these we could glue on. So let's go ahead and do that. Just gonna glue these on because I am not sewing these puppies. And that will go there. Isn't this adorable already? Oh my gosh, I so love this, you guys. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. The next thing you do is create the pockets. We're putting 2 pockets down. We're going to make them usable pockets so we can tuck something super cute in there. I don't know what yet. So you're going to need 2 pieces of the Pool cardstock or whatever you're using. These measure 3 1/4 inches wide, and at the longest point, they are 3 1/4 inches tall, about. So what you do is make a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch square. You find the center of that square on one end, and oh, you guys are gonna kill me. It is at 1 9/16. So do what you got to do to get the center, and make a little tick mark, and then you're going to cut at an angle so you can get these little pointy sides, I guess. What is this called? A diagonal side. That should be easy enough to do, right? You don't need me to show you that, right? We can use this as an example. Well, I'm just gonna do my little trick. I fold it slightly, but not all the way. Make a little crease at the top, but see, it's not creased anywhere else. Now I know where the center is, right there. So I'm gonna just go in and make a diagonal cut. And actually, let's keep this semi-folded and make a diagonal cut. So see, I was able to do that without making a crease in my cardstock, okay? Hey, how you like that? Just made that up. But look, it's a baby pocket. Oh my God, so cute. Okay, so 2 of these. Then you're going to need 2 in the flower design that are gonna go on top. Look at this, it's so cute. Oh my gosh, love it, love it, love it. And these measure, oh my goodness, 2 7/8 ish by 2 7/8. So do the same thing on what I just showed you here and put those pieces together. Oh, so when we go to glue this down, we're going to add glue to the side, down on our diagonals, and up this side. So we're leaving the center unglued so that it can be a pocket. You could even do the same to the pattern piece if you like, and then you could have a double pocket when we glue it onto the back. But that is how the back side of the faux denim jeans will look, or faux denim shorts. And this is how these turned out. Not really happy with this, but it is kind of curved, so it doesn't look that bad. I did try to sew around the pockets, and quite frankly, when I then went to put my pattern piece on there, it was basically covering the sewing. So I decided to not sew these pieces. I was mainly sewing the dotted paper. Now when we come to the cuff, I do sew down the sides because that's what you would see in shorts. But otherwise, I wasn't really sewing any of the additional pieces. So I'm just gonna have that one as extra, and I'm going to go ahead and glue down my pocket. Now again, you could glue this on, you know, the 4 little sides here, or 3 sides, and make it a pocket on top of a pocket. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to glue this one straight down onto this pocket. And then we can actually put these down. I'm wondering the best way to do this. Just going to put the 0 at the center of my shorts. I'm going to line this up just to help as a guide, really. Add my adhesive to the, I say 4 sides because there's 2 of these, but you get it. So I'll give you the measurements here in a moment of where I'm actually placing this. So 1 inch in from the edge of our shorts, and 2 1/4 inches down from the top. Okay, now we still have our belt loops to add, but I think I'm going to wait. I'm just going to tuck these in here for right now. So this is our front cover design. We're going to start with the base, right? So in the cut files, you not only have the base as one piece, I also cut it in half for you so that you have 2 pieces, because that's how our gatefold is working, and that's what you're going to need. If you are making this by hand without any patterns, make the full base piece like I've already showed you, and then cut that in half at 4 7/8, right? Yep, 4 7/8 by 6 3/4. So you should have 2 pieces that are like that, okay? So as we're doing a gatefold, you really need to think ahead of time of how you're going to keep your cover closed, and you don't want it to continue to fall in on itself, right? That's just annoying. When we add our pages, that will help bring up the sides of our gatefold. But we're going to use magnets. So what I did was I created this pocket piece, and we're going to be adding it here, I'll show you in a moment, to our base piece. But it's going to go on the left-hand side, and as you can see, we're going to adhere it to the cover to where part of this, which is the zipper area, will be hanging out over the edge of our cover. That's so we can add magnets, and it will magnetically click on to the other side of our cover, and it will then keep this, you know, kind of together. That's the hope. I also have another idea as a closure, is to add a belt, and I got ribbon in my design team package, and I'm wanting to use that as well. So this should help keep the gatefold, you know, the doors up rather than them falling in on each other. I'm hoping that works, and if not, maybe we need to add something on the inside as well, but we'll see as we go along. But that's the idea with this next piece. So this is where it's going to get a little tricky with some of the elements that we're creating, especially for the front of the faux shorts, right? We have 2 pocket areas, and then we have the backs of our pockets, right? And then we also have the area above it, the belt. I gave you the measurements for, and there's a cut file for this full belt across the top, but because we have to think about our gatefold doors, it needs to be cut in half. So you will have cut files and patterns for this full size belt cut in half. And I also did it to where you have the belt where I put a curve in it. These are some of the tricky pieces, but I'll do my best in trying to explain how you can recreate it by hand. And then here's our curved pieces. And the reason why I do a curve, and you may not even do this, it's kind of optional. I love the idea of being able to see like the backside or the inside of jeans just on the cover. I don't know, it just is kind of cool. So I created these 2 pieces. So I created this little kind of top of shorts shadow, if you will. That's what I named it. you'll have it in one full size, just like this one. You'll have it in a full size just like that one. And then I also cut it in half. And these go right here at the top. And see, they nestle down into the curve of this cut. But if you are using the full piece, which is perfectly fine, you would just place it on top, okay? So just so that you know. And I'll give you all the measurements here in a moment. I'm just kind of explaining how it's gonna look. Now, I'm a goofball, and I got excited when I was cutting this out. And as you can see, I did not cut off that little piece on the pattern paper. What is that called? I don't even know. Where it has the name of the paper. So I did not want to recut these pieces because I was, running low on that pattern. That's when I came up with the idea of using a solid color cardstock to mask that area. And then I just carried it through the rest of the design, and I absolutely love it. I think it's cool. So that's where those are gonna go. I'm gonna cut them down once I start doing everything. And it will cover it. And how cute are, I think that's just gonna be cute. But that's where that all came in. And then of course we have our belt loops to go on here, and our cuffs and our zipper. I have an extra piece for the zipper because we have this funky dunky little piece. And it will need to cover that. Probably should have made 2 of those, but this color goes with the collection as well. So this is Acquaintant. I think that's the name of it. AQUATINT, My Colors cardstock. And the blue color that I used, if I used it anywhere, this is the Denim My Colors cardstock. And I got both of those from Country Craft Creations as well as the rest of it. See, when we go to add these, this will get placed onto here first. And then we'll glue that down. And then this will go on here. See, it all makes sense now, right? So I think this has to go over top. Or should it go underneath? That's another part I gotta figure out. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna clear this off and give you the measurements. You kind of saw where we're going. If I wasn't sewing, we could just do it. I almost don't want to sew, so we could just do it, but then I really love the idea of sewing. I know I'm rambling, I'm just excited about this. Okay, I'm gonna give you the full measurement of this, and then you cut it in half. I think it's 9 3/4. Yeah. So 9 3/4. 1/2 would be 4 7/8. So that's where you cut it in half. And at the widest point, it is 3/8 inch. At the widest point in the center area, 3/8 inch, and then it goes smaller, probably all the way down. We go to a 1/4 and then to an 1/8. Now, I would recommend actually watching the card video because I kind of go through more in depth on how to create these curved pieces. But as you can see, you would just cut a, if I could pick it up, a 3/8 by 9 3/4 inch rectangle. And then from one point, you're going to cut at an oval, kind of a long oval to the other point. So if this is your piece together, say it's square, You're going to go from the left corner, start cutting and curving all the way up to the left corner at the top, right? You have a left and a right corner. You're going to cut the rights off. And again, I do go into more detail in the card video. Oh yeah, here, this is the denim artisan cardstock. Did I say my colors earlier? I think I did. Probably shouldn't put this down first, but it's already in my hand. Now, let's talk about the belt. I think I should be starting the other way. So here is the belt. Remember, this is 1.5 inch tall, 9 3/4 wide. So again, if you want to get the curve, you start out with this shape. You start at one corner, you cut down and around all the way to the other side. And you see, that's where I got this. So you could do this on like white cardstock, create yourself a template, and then use that to create these pieces. So whatever the curve got cut out, that's what I used at the top. But the total measurements, you know, altogether is 1.5. And again, you cut it in half at 4 7/8. So that gets tucked in right there. I'm gonna just kind of lightly add this on because I'm going to sew. When you do sew, you don't want to put too much glue because you don't want to gunk up your needles. Now this piece here is what's going to be a little difficult, as well as to make these. Now I've already shown you how to make these in the card video as well. Okay, so I just totally recommend that video. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to bring the camera back up because I think I was going off camera too much. So when you see these leg pieces, is what I call them, you might think, how do I create that? But actually, we've basically kind of already started creating it, right? We have our base piece. Again, create yourself a template if you're not going to get the cut files and patterns. Cut it in half. So then you'll have one of these, right? So I'll use this side. And if you look at this, it matches up. All that's different is that we don't have the 1.5 area at the top, right? It's like we cut this off. And the pocket piece, this, is gone. That's cut out. Now I actually made this an offset, so it's slightly bigger than this area here. But you can make it the same size and stick it in there. Actually, the cut files come with one that is the exact size, and then I give you another piece that is slightly smaller for your pattern paper. So if you wanted to do a solid piece here, you could, and then add a pattern piece on top of it. That's part of the bundle. This is the offset. It is large enough to go underneath it, and I wanted that so that I could make this a pocket. So when you tuck something in there, if you lift up a little bit, you'd see the pattern under there. So really all you're doing with this piece, which measures 4 7/8 by 5 1/4, you go over 2 inches, go up 3 1/4 inches, make a tick mark 3 1/4, go over here, make a tick mark at 2, and then cut out another oval. Cut out another oval. You're learning all your geometric shapes, folks. And then you'll have this piece. You're going to need 2 of them. Or if you have the cut files, cut out 2 If you have the patterns, just use the pattern, cut out 2. This is the zipper cover. This measures, you could go 3/4 of an inch, or if you want the exact measurement, it's 13/16 by 3 5/8. This one is a little bit shorter by, so that would be 3 9/16. To create this piece, you're going to create your rectangle, go down at the left corner, cut straight, and then start curving. Or you can use your corner rounder. We are memory keepers. You could use the 10mm. I'm not sure if I used, well, I didn't, but I did one in the card, and I think I told you which one I used. I can't remember. Okay, so we have these 2 pieces. Next, you want to create this piece. To start, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 5 3/4, or this is slightly under at 5 11/16 by 5 1/4, or again, this is slightly over at 5 5/16. So you have your rectangle, right? Or a square almost. Take these 2 patterns, put this one on top of your square. Take your zipper piece, put that on top. And now take your pencil and trace it out. Let's say this is my cardstock. I'm going to line these up. And I'm just going to start tracing, right? Tracing these pieces. This is going to be up here and go around. And trace your pieces out and then cut it out to have one of these, okay? So now I've shown you how to create that. For these, again, did I give you the measurements? So these are 3 or 3 1/16. Let's see, I think they're more along the lines of 3 by 2 1/4. Again, you would have your rectangle, go from the left corner, start cutting at an oval, and then you'll get your piece. You need 2 of those, okay? So I hope this is all making sense. It's the only way for me to tell you. I mean, I could show you how to create each one on cardstock, but do I really need to do that? So let's add the back of our pocket. Now remember, this piece is an offset, so it's larger than our cutout. So I'm gonna just make sure I get this over top. Okay, see what I did there? I added adhesive here, down the bottom, and just up to these little pieces, because I don't really know where it's gonna land. I'm going to take my pattern piece and I'm going to fully, well, I'm going to sew it on, but I'm going to glue this down as well. Right over top of that. Just make sure you're lining everything up so that it's all in alignment. Okay, now we're ready to add on our solid cardstock here. 1/4 of an inch by 2 or 2 1/16. And I'll tack it on, but I'm not going to glue it on yet because I'm going to take this piece off and do my stitching, just so that you can get the idea of what it looks like. And then we'll take our zipper piece. And again, I'm just going to tack this on. We've already talked about the sizing, so I'm just going to put that on there. So that's how that side looks. Oh, we got to do our belt loop, right? Now these belt loops are different than the one on the back. So this is still a 1/4, but this measures about 1 1/4, just slightly under. And this is a 1/2 inch by 1 3/8, or technically 1 7/16. I wanted it to go at the top and then come down past my solid color there, just a little bit, okay? I'm not gonna glue that on yet, like I said, because I'm gonna do some sewing. So we'll do the cuffs on those the last. Okay, so let's move over to the other side here. I'm gonna add the top shadow piece. That's kind of what I call it. Same thing as over there. Just make sure the sides are smooth, everything's aligned. We have the other side of our belt. We've already talked through that as well. And that goes right up to our shadow piece, right? We can add our back of the pocket, which we've already talked about. And then our pocket piece, where you're gluing on the sides and down here and over here. I'm just tacking mine on for this particular moment. And our little belt loop. I've already given you the measurements for that. And I'm kind of putting these where they're like a 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch from the edge of that curve, okay? For this side, I did cut it to be long enough to cover the zipper as well. So we need one piece that is as big as this area, and then we'll also do the top of the zipper. So this one measures a 1/4 of an inch by 2 1/16 or 2, depending on how you cut it. Now that's another thing. I'm giving you measurements, but if you cut yours different, you need to measure. So I gave you where to make your marks, but just measure it just to be safe. That was 3/4 inch across. So then when we lay this on top of each other, when we have the gatefold closed, it'll have this nice view here. You know, we'll have our belt loops on there. But then when we open it, we'll still have the continuation of that solid color, which I like that. Oh, we have our cuffs. You'll need 2 of these, and they measure 4 3/4 by 3/4. And these get glued on down here at the bottom. So that is the front of the shorts. So this is the front of the shorts. I did take this piece off because this is pretty thick cardstock. So going through all those layers, it was getting pretty thick and I didn't want to break my needle. So now I got to glue this piece back on there. So I ended up using Coats and Clark's embroidery thread, I guess, machine embroidery. And it's this hot pink. It's a polyester, color 3040, HO, I guess, H0, I'm not sure. But look how pretty that is. And I thought it was great to go with this. There is pink in this, and it's a lighter pink, as you can see. So the pink on the blue just really stood out, and I just love that. So I'm just going to glue this piece back on top. So when you're gluing down pieces with sewn edges, you need to add adhesive on the outside of the thread and on the inside, because if you don't, then it's just going to pop up because the thread is a bit bulky. So it will raise up the pattern piece, if you understand what I'm saying. Just make sure you glue it all down pretty good. Okay, now we're going to work on the other side of the shorts. And for this side, because we don't have this additional piece, we're only going to glue this pocket down on 3 sides and up here at the top. We can glue down here, but I'm going to keep this area open as a pocket. I started to glue that down fully, and then I remembered. Now we have a nice pocket here and a nice pocket here. Yep, that's what I wanted. Okay, and again, we'll just wait on the belt loops as well. Now we can bring out our cover. So I'm going to open this up fully and lay it as flat as possible. We should start with the back since that's going to be the easiest. What is this? Oh no. I've managed to get blue ink on my white cover. This is why I don't use white. I'm terrible with white. I've always been terrible with white. Even as a child, I didn't wear white because it would always end in disaster. So, darn. Okay. But you see how much easier that is to get this prepared off of the album, and then to just stick this down onto the album is so much easier. Okay. So this is ready to be glued down completely. I created this so that there would be an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. I was going to create this where it was a complete cover of the album, but I decided not to do that, I kind of like the idea of the white popping. See, that white just pops that right up off there. Now we're just going to burnish this. Now we can add on our spine pieces. And again, this is really just a matter of gluing everything down. What's nice about this is we'll have this as a guideline throughout the entire cover. Now this is the full width of the spine. I didn't add a border around this because you actually end up getting one. I'll show you here in a moment why. So you see when we have this closed, you do have all this additional white from the edge of where we added our pieces together for the cover. So that's why I just made this the size of the spine piece, because of this additional white that's already there. There was really no need to make an additional border for that. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and add on the second piece. We're going to start on the left-hand side and put this piece down so we can make sure we get our magnets the way that we want them. Now you could put your magnets under here and then add another piece on top. I was just going to put it on here and then add this piece over it. You know, if I put my magnets under here, it's going to be bulky. Is that going to look funny? I got 3 out in case I need 3. And I was just thinking we probably shouldn't have glued these 2 pieces together because I could put my magnets in here. All right, well, let's give this a go. I think it's gonna need 3. What do y'all think? 2? All right, we'll try it with 2. When you go to glue this down, you want to add this piece all the way over to the edge of our chipboard. So you can get the 1/8 of an inch border at the bottom, the side, and the top. We don't want there to be white showing between our 2 pieces because that would just look funny. Okay, so let's glue this down. You're gluing everything except for this area here. Again, line everything up. Bring it over to the edge of the chipboard. These are lined up. These are lined up here. I always check the back. So that's looking good right there. So I'm making sure that my gatefold doors are closed. They're aligned. I put some adhesive on the back of my magnets because, you know, I never do those right. So now I know where I need to put them. Yep, 3 is the magic number. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my piece here. Doing it the same way I just did the other one, hopefully. Now the only thing, I'm going to kind of lightly lay it down and then I'm going to bring up the other side of the cover to make sure it's matching there as well. Remember the sides over here should match up so you can get your 1/8 of an inch border around the other 3 sides. That looks good. Now we can add on our last piece here, and then we'll do the belt area. Okay, so we have the cover all decorated except for any embellishing. The next thing I wanted to do was add this ribbon. So I've taken what was provided in my design team package. I think it's a yard, but it's an awful long one. Of course, I don't know how much a yard is either. So anyway, so I put the two ends together to find the other end, and then I'm just going to make that the center and use this score line that we added earlier as the center for it. I think if this was thicker, it would be really cool, but that's what I have. So I think I need to add a little adhesive tape there to at least hold it down so I can see if this is the direction I want to go, right? So I'm just going to center that. Because remember, my belt loop, whichever one I'm using, I think it's this one, will go over that. Isn't that gonna look cute? I'm liking it already. Okay, I can't wait. I gotta add this. So I'm just putting adhesive at the bottom and the top only. And if we need to remove it or something, we'll be okay. And just right over this. You line this up to the top of the faux shorts here, or the faux denim shorts, I should say. Because the loops go beyond. Measure in 1 1/4 and then put your piece starting at the 1 1/4, okay, on each side. That's cute. Okay. Make sure you smooth this out. So they should be even with the top. And we'll do the same over here. I'm just using a 1/4 of an inch score tape for this. I'm holding it taut and in the middle. Sorry I had my arms all in the frame. But I gotta get up in there since I can't get over the project. Okay. So if we want to remove this, we still have the possibility to do that, right? How cute is this? Now for the sides, I'm just going to let them be loose, I think, for right now. I'm gonna add this 1 1/2 inch roll of score tape under here to keep my panels up while I'm working on this. will just be easier. So again, I'm bringing this around. Now I know I'm taking a lot of time to figure this out. You may not want to do that, and that's okay. So from the edge of our pocket here, I measured over 3/8 of an inch, and then I put my adhesive. The edge of the adhesive is at the 3/8 inch mark. And then I'll put my belt loop over that. Now this belt loop will only go to the top of the blue part. It won't go on the flower part, okay? Bring this up on the side. Again, try to keep it level in the center. I'm gonna go ahead and get my tape ready. And again, I'm pulling it taut on the side. I'm sorry I'm not talking a lot through this one. I'm really concentrating. Again, I measured from this side in 3/8 of an inch, and that's where I put the beginning of my adhesive, making it taut on the side, so no loopy-loopy. You want it like that. And getting this centered. You want to make sure these kind of match up. And then putting that down. You may not like the dot on dot, but I don't know, doesn't bother me. The other ribbon I had was this, and quite frankly, I just don't think these colors go. I don't think it goes with that. Maybe it looked like it in the store, but it doesn't. I don't think it does. That was probably the hardest part of the whole thing. Now, I want to get a button because I still want to add a button. Okay, so I had a little bottle of buttons that I got from a previous event or design team package, I'm not quite sure. So I've been using that for a lot of projects. I found 4 buttons that will go. So just to give you some ideas of what colors you could use, this one is kind of like an orange red, and I think that one would go really nicely, you know, pulling out the orange colors, and there is a hint of red in here. There's also a nice little pink one that I really liked as well because it went with the pink thread. I don't know if I showed you guys the thread very well earlier, but that's how it looks. And then I found this really pretty like olive green. I don't know, I just love it. I love green anyway, so I really do love that because look at the colors in the leaves. It just goes so well with the dots and everything. I do like that one, but you know what? I think this is the winner because it does something and it pulls all these colors in together. So I think that's the one. Plus, it has some really cool writing on the button. I don't know if you can see that. Boon Siri? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But I love that it has writing on it, like a real button. So yeah, I think that's the one I'm going to use. Just going to use an adhesive dot to put this down. Or glossy accents would be really good. Putting it right above my zipper area here. Okay, and then we could tie it, which, you know, I'm not really good at. Oh my gosh. I'm not a good bow tire, you guys. Not a good bow tire. Speaking of tying, we had a great family friend just pass away. And she was like our second mom. And I can still remember when she made me late and actually miss the bus for school because she wanted me to learn how to tie my shoes. And she wouldn't let me go to school until I tied my shoes. So that's no longer a problem for people. But this certainly does make me think of that. I don't know, I think I'm making it worse, you guys. And I'm getting teary-eyed. Okay, sorry. It's the first time I said anything out loud, really. Okay. I don't know how short to cut these. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think it's cute, right? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Guess I'll just cut these at an angle. What the what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want them to be too short in case they tie a different type of bow. I don't know, guys. I'm just winging it. I'm going to put them together. Do an angle cut. Oh, I think I went the wrong way. So you can tell I don't do a lot of bows. That's hilarious. Actually, that's kind of cute. Okay. That is the front of the cover. Our sides and the back. Really cute. Now we can do some embellishing. Now, to decorate this, I got a pack of the Polaroid bits, and I have the sticker sheet, as well as the layered chipboard. These are really nice, by the way, really nice. So I think I'm going to put in some Polaroids in here. I thought that would be cute. I don't know if I want to do both pockets or just the one. I don't know, I kind of like something in both of them and having it hang out. I don't know, let's do this one. And what I want to do is use the little hearts as like little pulls. Yeah, that's going to be cute. And then we'll just stick that in there. I love the little hello sticking out. You have the little heart. That's cute. Let's see how it looks over here. Yeah, definitely this pocket. I like that. That's cute. Now, let's see. I think that's all I'm going to add. We could add a sentiment and have it be almost like a tag. Picnicking. Flip-flopping. Oh my gosh, these are cute. I didn't even read these. Let's be lazy. I like that. Loving this. Summer adventures. Summertime. Beachy. Pink noses. Funny. You are a ray of sunshine. Keep it sunny. I want kind of a small one we could put here, maybe on the side. So much fun would work. Happiness. Oh, there's two oh, one is so much fun and one is so much sun. Flip-flopping. That's so cute. Easy breezy. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Is that too matchy-matchy? Yeah. I think it needs to be a different color. I hate when you take things off the sticker sheet because they never stay down after you do that. Blue Skies might be a name of a denim place. Oh, but look, it's the same color. I'm drawn to the color. Oh, I love this Let's Be Lazy. That is just so cute. Golden rays. I like the flip-flopping too. How about just plain old loving this? How's that look? Does that look like a... Wait, where is the tag on a jeans? I gotta go look. Okay, so technically the tag is on the inside for Levi's on the right. But actually, I like that look. It equals it out. So does it matter? I don't know. I almost want to see what it looks like. Ugh. Yeah, I think I like it better. And it was down a little. Oh my God. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with it over there. I mean, technically you could do it however you want. But the whole idea was it to be like faux denim, right? That is still adorbs. I love it. You could put more things on the back if you want. I don't want to put too much back here. Nobody's going to see it. And that's the point that I was making earlier. I'd rather have the back on the front. Okay, we're going to call out done. For the sides, I don't know. Let's go back to the front here. For this, I did want one of these cards sticking out of the pocket. I just love these. They're so cute. Let's see. Okay. I like that one. I think this one is cute. Yeah, no. Nobody would have that in their pocket. You are one in a melon. That's adorbs. That's cute. And then the other one I liked was this one. Bring on the summer. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's it. That's the one. That inspired the whole thing. Okay. So these are super fun. These would be great if you're just doing journaling. Now, I did think about using this on the front. I don't know, I kind of like it. Kind of like something like that. Is that too much? We have this adorable thing. I mean, this has like several different layers. You could put that like that. Does take away from your pocket though. And I didn't really care for the, like, I don't know. I don't want those on the front. This one's super cute though. Okay, I don't know about you, but I think that's adorable. I think I might wait to decorate the sides until I know what I'm going to put on the inside. Okay, so I think that is all the decorating I'm going to do for right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed creating this cover. I hope you're making it along with me. It's so much fun. There's so many variations that you could do. I'm just loving it. I can't wait to get it all done. I'm so loving this. I wish that was the front, I'm telling you. But that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, I'll have the links down in the description box below, and the next video will be to do the pages and all the inside stuff. So don't forget to take advantage of the pre-order special. I'll have that information in the description box as well. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.